You know, some people know not what they do, but they're still caught up in the world system. And Yahweh's true anointed are supposed to be separated from the world system. Now, at the same time, there are people right here in America and other countries, third world countries, living in pure poverty, living in huts. I've known people that have taken mission trips to, you know, South America and Costa Rica and certain parts where there's just innocent people, humble village people living in little huts, you know, and they're the most humble, happiest people they've met. Like, hey, thank you, USA, for rebuilding our homes from the hurricane. And wow, you know, like, just very content at the simplicities of life, the true blessings and natural abundance of life. And that's kind of a lesson for all of us over here, including myself. I mean, but I can speak from my own testimonies and actual life experience that, man, I've been there on all sides of the tracks when it comes to life in America, man. You name it, middle class, the rich. I've lived in, you know, rough spots, ghettos, nice neighborhoods, everywhere in between and across the tracks, man. You know, and everywhere I've been, even when I was broke, you know, kicked out of my home, you know, shacking up with a friend of mine in a rough neighborhood, bouncing around to my other friend's house and living in my friend's attic. When I have gotten fired from my job, unemployed, with nothing but $1 bill in my pocket. The Most High Jah provides. It's amazing. It's almost kind of liberating, because you kind of put yourself out there where you're kind of forced to lean upon the Father, to lean upon Jehovah Jireh or Yahweh, knowing He is your provider as well as your salvation and protection. And it is, to a certain degree, quite liberating. I went to Jamaica back in 1999 with an old girlfriend for a vacation, and it was quite an experience. I saw the nice, beautiful parts of Jamaica, of the Father's natural wonders and creation. Beautiful land, but I saw some serious third world poverty there at the same time. Like, man, this isn't advertised on the commercials. All you hear is the One Love Bob Marley song, and they're showing the ritzy parts of the tourist sites. And, you know, there is quite beautiful sights in Jamaica as far as the land. It's a tropical island, the waterfalls, the countryside. But there are some parts in the shanty towns and ghettos, and even amongst the countryside, you know, old dirt roads and just Jamaicans and random people living off the side of the road, even in the country, with little shacks, living in little shacks built up by rusty metal scraps and old pieces of wood they just kind of put up. I mean, tropical heat, third world, definitely not the wealthiest country in the world, you know, but I see many people there very content. And I see many of Yahweh's people there, the descendants of the original lost tribes, and people just content in their basic simplicities of life. There was a time I was reading Jah Word, you know, reading my word late at night in my friend's attic. A bunch of us lived in a house together in the recent past couple of years, and I lived literally in his rooftop, in this A-framed attic. It was actually kind of a cool little room, and I had my little spot kind of blocked off from a brother of mine I was sharing that room with at one point. Then he moved out, and I had the room to myself for a while. But I had this little cave blocked off with my sun, moon, and stars draped, and my little TV set, and my single bed, and it was my pad. I was thankful that the Most High Jah was providing that shelter and that roof over my head. And I was reading Proverbs, and it said, it is better to live in the corner of a rooftop than with a quarrelsome wife. And I hear downstairs at the same time, in the background, a bunch of slamming doors and cursing with my roommate, arguing with his girlfriend that was driving him crazy and cheating on him, etc., etc. It's all in the past, but and it's their business. But my point is, I just kind of chuckled and I laughed, and I realized that the Most High Jah, Almighty God, definitely has a sense of humor. As a matter of fact, all forms of humor come from him. He gives human beings senses of humor. So I was like, okay, Father, all right. But I've talked to fellow brethren, and not just the dreads I went to college with that enlightened me years back when I was in Florida, but a true, genuine Christian brethren of mine that lived in Florida for a while. He shares his personal testimony of living out of his car for literally, 2 or 3 days straight, just living out of his car, until eventually he bumped into somebody who knew somebody from back home, or from back here in VA, and there you go. A married couple provided a place for him to stay, for a couple of weeks or a couple of months until he got on his feet. And he says, Almighty God will not let me go hungry. I trust in him. He says, I am his son. He has to take care of me, That's the faith. That's the genuine basic faith that we are supposed to have in the Most High. When I was broke, unemployed, going from job to job, I didn't know where these random jobs were coming from. I didn't know where my money came from to pay my bills, to get by, to put gas in my car, or food on my plate. But the Most High Jah will provide. Selah.